Okay, let's play a game of Did You Know? I know everybody likes to play that game, so we're going to play Did You Know North Georgia Edition. In this game, I'm going to tell you 3 random facts about North Georgia. Are you ready? Did you know that Dawsonville, Georgia was home to a nuclear plant that was designed to test the feasibility of nuclear aircraft? The nuclear testing facility is in Dawson Forest in Dawsonville, Georgia. Legend has it that there are deer in Dawson Forest that have 3 eyes and 2 sets of antlers. I've never seen that. Also, I've heard that that's home to Bigfoot out there in Dawson Forest. I don't know. If you've seen Bigfoot out there, let me know. Okay, number 2. Did you know that there are dolls that are birthed out of cabbage in North Georgia? Well, just in case you didn't know where babies come from, no, I'm talking about baby dolls. I'm talking about Cabbage Patch dolls. The home of the Cabbage Patch doll is in Babyland General in Cleveland, Georgia. Okay, did you know that one of Elvis's warts is on display at the Loudermilk Boarding House and Everything Elvis Museum in Cornelia? See, I know that some of you out there, maybe you live in a different state and you think North Georgia isn't cultured. Well, these 3 facts will let you know that we are very cultured here in North Georgia. Hey everybody, my name is Tim Gibson and I am a real estate agent in North Georgia. If I haven't scared you away, please subscribe to my channel. And of course, if you're thinking about moving to the area and being close to one of Elvis's warts, then please reach out. My contact info is on the screen. All right, this video, it's called Everything You Need to Know About North Georgia. Now that we got some random facts out of the way, let's talk about some of the basics of North Georgia. All right, we're gonna keep this video very basic for you new subscribers out there or someone that's never seen the channel. We're gonna talk about geography and climate in North Georgia first. All right, so the landscape in North Georgia, it's known for the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's known for its natural beauty. It's known for numerous lakes and state parks. Fun fact about some of the lakes in North Georgia, actually all the lakes in North Georgia are man-made and used for power. If you love the outdoors and you love nature, I think North Georgia would be a fantastic place for you. Next, we're gonna talk about climate. I'd call North Georgia a temperate climate. Hey, look, I'm not a meteorologist, so I think that's the word I'm supposed to use there. But the North Georgia area experiences 4 distinct seasons. You've got hot summers. You can get, hot and muggy in the summertime. You've got mild and cool winters. Sometimes you'll get down to the 20s, maybe even the teens for maybe a day or 2 in the wintertime. And my favorite time in North Georgia is the fall. All the leaves are changing, lots of beautiful colors across the mountains. It's a really great time in North Georgia. Also, some of you coming from Florida, I know you ask a lot about snow. We do get snow every once in a while in North Georgia, especially at the higher elevations. But you could expect maybe it to snow once or twice a year at the most. And off the top of my head, I think it hasn't snowed in North Georgia to speak of in about the last 3 years or so. Okay, so cost of living is next. And as far as housing goes, I'm gonna do an entire video on the cost of living in North Georgia because it would be impossible to cover that in this section here on this video. I'm shooting this video in July of 2024, and I can safely say that it costs more than an arm and a leg, maybe 2 arms and 1 leg to buy groceries these days. But as a whole, I would say that groceries in North Georgia are going to be a little bit cheaper than some of the other areas that are close to major cities in the US. Utilities, also the same. I would say it's basically right there in the middle. Another thing to think about is homeowners insurance. I know that a lot of you come from Florida and watch from Florida. The homeowners insurance in North Georgia is still relatively inexpensive compared to places like Florida. All right, so if you live in North Georgia, we're going to talk about employment and economy. Where would you work? Lots of different opportunities. Of course, North Georgia, like I mentioned, is a very large area, so I've got lots of different industries in different parts of the North Georgia mountains. If you have a good internet connection and you work remote, obviously that would be a good choice. There are a lot of people that do choose to work remote in North Georgia. There's a lot of people that work in trades and construction in North Georgia. A lot of people are employed by the University of North Georgia, which is a massive university system in North Georgia. You also have a lot of jobs in, teaching jobs, county government, things like that, manufacturing, agriculture, tourism, and healthcare, to name a few. All that to say, we're keeping this very general, but you do have some job opportunities in North Georgia. It's going to vary greatly depending on the area you choose. Education, we don't have any schools in North Georgia. All right, on to the next section. No, I'm just kidding. We do have schools in North Georgia. There's a mix of public and private schools, of course. And some of the best public schools in the state of Georgia are located in North Georgia. Those would be Forsyth County schools, Beaufort City schools, Lumpkin County Schools and Dawson County Schools are all pretty good for North Georgia and for the state of Georgia, actually. There are also quite a few really great private schools if you choose to go that route in North Georgia. Some of the more notable private schools in North Georgia are Lakeview Academy in Gainesville. You got Horizon Christian Academy in Cumming, Georgia. Greater Atlanta Christian is in Norcross, kind of in the suburbs, but on the way to North Georgia. You also have Raven Gap School in Raven County, and you have Pinecrest Academy. Quite a few options there for you depending on where you choose to live. All right, colleges. Do we have any colleges in North Georgia? No. No, I'm just kidding. We actually do have some colleges. The education in North Georgia, I would say, is mostly centered around the University of North Georgia, which the main campus is in Dahlonega, Georgia. They also have satellite campuses in Cumming and Gainesville, so all that sort of Northeast Georgia region is covered by the University of North Georgia for the most part. Then you also have your choice of private colleges in North Georgia. You've got Young Harris College in Young Harris, Georgia. You've got Toccoa Falls College in Toccoa. And you also have Truett McConnell College up in Cleveland, Georgia. Another factor if you're thinking about moving to North Georgia would be healthcare. And as you get to the more rural areas in North Georgia, naturally your medical facilities are going to be a little bit more sparse. But all that being said, there are quite a few healthcare facilities and hospitals in the region. I would say the most major hospital in North Georgia is going to be Northeast Georgia Medical Center, and that's in Gainesville, Georgia. They also have satellite hospital facilities in Brazelton. There's a new one in Dahlonega, Georgia. There's also a Northside Hospital in Cumming, Georgia. I would say, for your basic care, you can get all that covered in just about anywhere in North Georgia. But if you experience some sort of major trauma event or some sort of major dire emergency, you're going to end up in one of the hospitals in Atlanta. Okay, so let's talk about transportation. If you want to get around in North Georgia, I would say the best way to do that is on horseback. Pretty much there's no public transportation in North Georgia at all, unless you want to take Mama's Taxi from Dahlonega down to the airport. She takes you down to the airport if you need a ride down there. Shout out Mama's Taxi. Okay, so yeah, because there's no public transportation, and if you don't want to buy a horse or maybe a horse and buggy, then you're going to need a car in North Georgia. Everything is pretty spread out up here. All of the population centers are very sparse. So yeah, you're going to need a car to get around North Georgia. One of the things I like about North Georgia is that it is a rural area and it is nice and quiet, but you can access some of the major highways pretty quickly depending on where you are in the state. If you need to get down towards the suburbs or Atlanta for work, for medical, for the Atlanta Braves, 2021 World Series champions. Okay, so to the northwest of Atlanta, you could take I-75 or I-575. To the northeast, you have I-85 and I-985. And also northeast, you have Georgia 400, which goes up sort of in between 75 and 85. So another cool thing about North Georgia, like I mentioned, it is rural, but it's a maximum of about a 2.5-hour drive from anywhere in North Georgia to the world's largest airport, the world's busiest airport, which is Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, just south of Atlanta, Georgia. All right, so next we're gonna talk about recreation, lifestyle. What do you do if you live in North Georgia? So we're gonna start with outdoor activities. North Georgia is an outdoor enthusiast wonderland. You can do anything you want up here outdoors. You can go hiking, fishing, boating, you can get on the lake, you can do camping, anything you want to do. There's no shortage of fun things to do in North Georgia as far as outdoor activities go. All right, being from Florida, the first thing I noticed about North Georgia is how friendly everybody is and the small town charm and the southern hospitality. Most of North Georgia is rural, so most of the towns are small, but there are a couple of more suburban type towns like Gainesville or Cumming, Georgia. But for the most part, you could expect North Georgia to be a friendly place and you can enjoy a slower pace of life if that's what you're looking for. So if you live in North Georgia, what do you choose to do for fun? Most people choose to do outdoor activities. You've got popular places to visit. A lot of people go on the weekends. You've got Amicalola Falls, you've got Tallulah Gorge, Appalachian Trail. There are tons of wineries in Dahlonega, Cleveland, Ellijay. Ellijay has the apple orchards and the apple harvest in the fall. Lots of fun things to do there. A lot of the towns in North Georgia have a town square, and that's where a lot of the activities happen. Just about any weekend on any square in North Georgia, you can find something fun to do throughout the year, really. All right, so let's talk about some of the utilities and services of North Georgia because it is very rural and most of you are looking from more suburban areas or more city center type areas. Okay, so if you're browsing around on Zillow, you're looking for houses in North Georgia, and you happen to come across just any typical house, you can pretty much count on it to be on well water and a septic system. Why is that? Well, that's because most of the public utilities are very limited in North Georgia. This is mostly due to the topography and the geography. Because we're in the mountains, there's a lot of rock up here, and it's very hard to make a very large public sewer system or water system. Also very expensive to do all that, and there aren't a ton of residents in these counties, so most people have their own well or a community well and a septic system for sewer. Okay, I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but the internet in North Georgia can be very spotty in different locations. Of course, if you are very remote in the mountains and you're in a house that is not surrounded by a lot of other houses, you can pretty much count on having a pretty terrible internet connection. A lot of the subdivisions that are in North Georgia tend to have better connections, and some different locations have good connections. Like LJ has the LJ Telephone Company, and they have a good internet system through the LJ Telephone Company. I know that Dahlonega also upgraded their fiber internet, and they expanded fiber access to some of the underserved houses and residences in Lumpkin County. Okay, so if you work from home or you need a really good internet connection in North Georgia, I would go to the FCC broadband map. If you just Google FCC broadband map, you can check out basically an address, type in an address, and it'll tell you the internet providers for that address and the range of speeds you could expect from each one of those providers. Really good tool for you. Okay, I get this question sometimes from clients that are in more suburban areas, and they're asking me about, what about wildlife? Are there bears in North Georgia? Are there dangerous animals and things like that? The answer is yes, there are bears. I've lived here for 25 years, and I've maybe seen 2 bears that I can remember. And most black bears, I would say, are like Yogi Bear, if you're familiar with Yogi Bear. He's just hanging out, trying to find something to eat, not really trying to bother anybody. If you make some noise, they'll usually run away. Probably the most dangerous animal in North Georgia is white-tailed deer. Why? Because they run across the road at night, and then you hit them and swerve off the road. So watch out for white-tailed deer. If you are driving around North Georgia, there's tons of them everywhere. We also got foxes, coyotes, there's some, raccoons, armadillos, things like that. But for the most part, the wildlife is pretty low-key in North Georgia. Okay, there's one that you might want to watch out for. It might be even more dangerous than the white-tailed deer. You gotta watch out for Bigfoot. Oh, speaking of Bigfoot, there's a Bigfoot museum in Blue Ridge, Georgia. It's called Expedition Bigfoot. I have been there. You can learn all about the different types of Sasquatches, skunk apes, and Bigfoots and things like that. It's a pretty cool place to visit. Should have mentioned that in one of my top 3 random things in North Georgia. I guess we'll just make it 4. All right, what did you think about the video? I know this was a very general overview of North Georgia. Leave some thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read those. Let me know if you have any questions about North Georgia. As always, my contact info is on the screen. If you're ready to take the plunge and move to North Georgia, please reach out. I will be happy to help. See you on the next video.